Welcome to my channel. The story of the Ten Commandments begins long before the moment they were carved into stone. It begins with a people searching for identity, stability, and meaning in a harsh and uncertain world. The Israelites were not simply wandering in a desert, they were transitioning from slavery into freedom, from chaos into order. Freedom without guidance can easily turn into disorder, and it was in this fragile moment that the foundation of moral law was formed. When Moses ascended Mount Sinai, the mountain itself became a symbol of separation between the ordinary and the sacred. According to tradition, thunder, lightning, and fire surrounded the peak, creating an atmosphere of fear and awe. This dramatic setting emphasized that the laws being given were not casual suggestions but principles meant to shape life itself. The commandments were not presented as temporary rules for one generation but as a timeless moral structure. The first commandments focused on loyalty and belief. They established the idea that faith was not meant to be divided or shared with idols created by human hands. In ancient societies, gods were often associated with power, wealth, or nature. By rejecting idols, the commandments challenged humans to stop worshipping control, fear, and material strength. This was a radical shift that demanded inner discipline rather than outward display. The commandment against misusing the divine name reinforced the power of words. Speech was no longer neutral, it carried moral weight. Words could heal or destroy, honor or manipulate. This idea laid the groundwork for later ethical systems that emphasized honesty, integrity, and accountability in communication. The commandment to observe a day of rest was equally revolutionary. In a world where survival depended on constant labor, rest became an act of trust. It suggested that human value was not measured only by productivity. Rest protected dignity, family bonds, and mental health long before such concepts were formally recognized. It reminded people that life was more than work and survival. The commandments then shifted toward human relationships. Respect for parents was placed at the center, linking family stability to social stability. By honoring parents, individuals learned respect for authority, experience, and continuity between generations. This commandment acknowledged that societies collapse when wisdom is ignored and relationships are neglected. The prohibition against murder established the sanctity of life. It was not merely about physical killing but about recognizing the inherent value of every human being. This principle later influenced laws, philosophies, and human rights movements across civilizations. It drew a clear boundary against violence as a solution to conflict. The commandment against adultery addressed trust and commitment. Families were the backbone of ancient societies, and betrayal within them caused ripple effects of pain and instability. This law emphasized responsibility, loyalty, and respect for emotional bonds, not just legal contracts. The commandment against theft went beyond property. It condemned exploitation, injustice, and abuse of power. Stealing was not only about taking objects but about violating fairness and dignity. This idea later expanded into concepts of economic justice and ethical governance. False testimony was forbidden because truth is the foundation of justice. In societies without advanced forensic systems, words could decide life or death. By condemning lies, the commandments protected the innocent and restrained the powerful from manipulating truth for personal gain. The final commandment addressed desire itself. Coveting targeted the inner world of thoughts and intentions. It recognized that many actions begin with unchecked desire. By confronting envy, the commandments moved morality into the heart and mind, not just outward behavior. As history unfolded, the Israelites struggled to live up to these ideals. Periods of faithfulness were followed by corruption and decline. Kings abused power, judges accepted bribes, and the vulnerable were often ignored. Each failure highlighted the relevance of the commandments rather than their weakness. Prophets emerged not to replace the law but to remind people of it. They spoke against empty rituals and demanded justice, compassion, and humility. Their message was consistent: obedience without ethics is meaningless, and faith without morality is hollow. When the Israelites were exiled and stripped of their land, the commandments became a portable homeland. Without a temple or kingdom, values preserved identity. This idea reshaped how religion functioned, shifting from place-based worship to principle-based living. As Christianity developed, the Ten Commandments were reaffirmed as moral foundations. Teachings emphasized love, mercy, and forgiveness, but these ideas did not cancel the commandments. Instead, they deepened them. The law was no longer seen only as external rules but as internal transformation. Islam later echoed similar principles, reinforcing the universality of moral law. Across traditions, the commandments proved adaptable without losing their core meaning. They addressed human nature rather than cultural trends. In medieval Europe, the commandments influenced legal systems, education, and governance. They shaped concepts of crime, punishment, and responsibility. Even when misused or enforced harshly, their moral authority remained strong. During the Enlightenment, thinkers questioned religious authority, yet many ethical frameworks still mirrored the commandments. Concepts of equality, justice, and individual rights carried their influence, even when expressed in secular language. In the modern era, debates about morality often avoid religious terminology, but the underlying values persist. Laws against violence, fraud, and exploitation reflect ancient principles. The commandments continue to influence conscience, even in societies that claim independence from religion. Technology, globalization, and cultural change have introduced new ethical challenges, yet the core questions remain the same. How should power be used? What limits should desire have? How should truth be protected? The commandments continue to offer guidance, not by providing easy answers, but by defining moral boundaries. The enduring power of the Ten Commandments lies in their balance. They combine devotion and responsibility, freedom and restraint, inner intention and outward action. They do not promise perfection, but they provide direction. The image of stone tablets symbolizes permanence in a world of change. While cultures rise and fall, the questions of right and wrong persist. The commandments endure because they speak to the human condition itself. They remind humanity that morality is not invented anew by each generation, but discovered through reflection, struggle, and responsibility. They challenge individuals and societies to rise above impulse and consider the consequences of their choices. In the end, the Ten Commandments are not simply ancient laws. They are a moral conversation that continues across time, inviting every generation to decide what kind of world it wishes to build. Thanks for watching.